How's everyone doing? Doing good? Okay, so thank you so much. I'd like to use this opportunity to express my deepest gratitude, and I was so honored to be here and to welcome all this international guests coming from all over the world. Hopefully, I be able to share something valuable and share my life experience with you all. 很感谢这次有这个机会哈，那特别要谢谢这个 Andy， 还有这个经营世界呢，给我这个机会，那跟大家认识、交结朋友，然后一起分享我的一些故事。So I was invited to this business forum that has to do with the Buddhism, right? When I was as a child, because my family all believe in Buddhism, so that's why at a very young age I had this connection. And I don't really, as a young kid, you really don't know what the religion is all about unless you go through life stages. So today I want to share with you, my life. Before I start that, they listed, a bunch of stuff that I currently do. I'm a county commissioner. I'm a quasi-judge. I hold a lot of different association titles, president of, a lot of associations. I public servant. I also, help out here and there, and also lead a company that handles about $1.5 billion dollars of asset. We're in the process of acquiring $300 million of commercial, landmark center here in Southern California. So among all of these things, I still find time to do something I like to do. I played basketball last night for about 3 hours, from 6 to 10, with a lot of young kids. And I do, this morning, I do Tai Chi for a couple hours. And I do a lot of community work. I even go to the, the streets. I bring kids to clean the streets. But one of my favorite things that I'm very proud of is every year for the past 8 years, I've been performing at Disneyland. You guys been to Disneyland, right? Yes. So I do drumming, I do martial art. I enjoy all of this, among all the things I'm doing right now. So partly to this kind of a lifestyle. So I want to kind of share with you, because I know the time is limited. Only got 15-20 minutes. I got to go through the whole my life stages. So bear with me and see if, let's go back in time. This is what I want to share with you during, this life stages of my life, what I've learned, what matters to me, what's the most important things in my life. And the third one is how do I define success, right? And happiness during the different stages. Maybe we can, join me, go back in time. When you were 10 to 20 years, when you're, from 10 to 20 years old, right? I'm sure, we all went through the stage. So now, thinking back during the stage, I actually have to tell you, I was born in Taiwan. I came to US when I was 12. And then the reason, because I couldn't control my destiny, right? I just followed wherever my parents took me. So they took us, I have two siblings, older sister, younger sister, came to here without a word of English. I didn't even know how to, ABCD, that's all I know. The only thing I knew was I was going to Disneyland, right? So at age of 12, I was so happy I was going to come over. But soon after, that summer, after I finished all the fun, I realized the real challenge. So I can tell you, during that time, it was the darkest time of my life. It was the darkest time. Yeah. Why? Because high school wasn't easy. Junior high was very tough, right? I was being discriminated against. I remember I was walking, down the road, and someone, a white Caucasian guy, a student, went by, spit on me. Yeah, so I still remember that. So, that kind of experience really had a long-lasting impact. Yeah. So I, back then I thought, okay, maybe one day, I have to earn people's respect. I want to do something different. So that's a story I want to share with you during that time. Of course, because English was a challenge for me. I want to study really hard. So I studied till very late at night, and then I had to go to all kinds of activities. I remember I had to wake up like 5 o'clock and then sleep really late the next morning. Go through the marching band, this and that. So that lasted the 4 years of a very challenging time, even during the college life. Yeah. So because of this effort, I was able to attend UCLA. Back then was a lot easier to attend, but because the language barrier still, was a very difficult time for me. Yeah. So that was what I learned. Now looking back, is that setting that foundation was very important. I went through all the hardships. I went through all the difficulties. I went through perseverance. I know you got to put in hard effort, so that way you'll be able to develop your personality. I learned to be independent. My parents had to travel back and forth from here in Taiwan, except my mom. She stayed here with my family all the time. I mean, my sisters. So I went through that independence. So that developed my character back then. So what was most important for me? Grades. Getting the grades. Okay, getting A or at least B. So that was all about that time. So now we move forward to after graduating, right? So I spent all this time in college, all this time in high school, went through all the hardships. Now I start to go into the real world. So during this time, that's when I got my first job in the bank. All of a sudden, I see a lot of opportunities. So during this time, when I was 21 to 30, I started to invest. I started to accumulate wealth. I remember my first job was banking. I was working at this Taiwanese Changhua Commercial Bank. I was making how much back then? That was like 1991. I was making 1,100 a month. Okay, at that time, yeah. But at that time, I was like a sponge. All the information just keep on coming in. I absorbed everything I could, and they're saying that I still work very hard. I don't care about the salary. I don't care about compensation. All I care is, do I have something new to learn? So I continue to acquire new skills, new knowledge. It is during this time that I also bought my first house with the money I saved. My parents, they did not even know that I saved enough to buy my first house. I had to do a negative amortization. Some of you know what that is. That means the money that you borrow, it continue to grow. Yeah. So I took risks, right? I was able to do stuff like that, taking all the risks, taking all the challenges, getting all my credentials, this and that. So after all this, what I learned is that once during this time, you just explore what life can offer you. I was able to accomplish that, and what was most important matter to me was challenges, learning, yeah. And what defined success was, that I have a unlimited energy, that I'd be able to meet new friends, with all the new things that happened to me. That was the most happiest time, the elements, in my life. Shall we continue? All right. So if you remember, this is closer to many of us. So 30 to 40 years old, that's the time that I start to develop a passion in what I do. So because we would fast track, this whole my life. I started real estate. I had this passion for real estate when I was young, because my parents, immigrated from Taiwan to U.S. And when they first came, we had to make a living, right? So they invested, but of course, we went through a lot of difficulty as well. We actually, back then, they invested some money, but then lost a lot of money too. So we were on the side, we understand their suffering, and we were able to weather the storm. So during this time, I focus on what I did the best, and that is commercial real estate. So I continue to hone in on the skill that I can do the best and continue to excel in this area. But the funny thing is, the more I learn, the more I feel that it's not enough. I became the CCIM president of Greater Los Angeles when I was at 32, 33. And CCIM organization, this is the highest credential that you can obtain in commercial real estate. I got that. I even became their president. The first thing they asked me is, how come it's you? First of all, this organization is mostly Caucasian, white people, right? And then I was able to, and I told them simply, because I started early. I started early. By the time I was 30, 31, 32, 33, that time, I already accumulated more than, 10, 15 years of experience. So that was that time. And what was important to me was, connection, networking. I need to know a lot of people. And also, how did I define success was money. Got to make a lot of money during this time. Yeah, I acquired the skills, and I just, going for money. And also during this time, my health is not as good. So now we come to 41 and current. I'm 47 right now, going to turn 48 very soon. But during this time, I started to realize something that's even more important. I forgot one thing about, that last phase. I also got married. So I got a son who is now 15 years old. So that was when I was, in the last stage. So this stage, I realized there's something more important. Because all of a sudden, I lost a couple of very important friends. There are people that I love left me. So I realized there's got to be something that's more important. I even have a very wealthy client wanted to end his life. I said, that's interesting because you accumulate all this wealth, and all of a sudden you want to end your life. There's got to be something more to the wealth, the money part of the equation. Yeah. So it's during this time that I start to reflect. I start to think. I start to reconsider my choices in life. Do I want to be wealthier, or do I want to be healthier? Do I want to help people, or do I want to help myself? So it's also during this time I start to reflect about all the things I've been doing. And luckily, I was able to meet the mentor or someone who's really changed my life. She's a teacher, and of all her life, and together we created a foundation that is aiming to provide cultural awareness and also youth leadership, more character development. So with that kind of involvement, I start to bring color to my life. I start to see meaning in my life. And that leads to something that's very important. Yeah, and now, because of a loss of friends, because of loss of loved ones, I start to gather all my resources, all my thinking, and realize there are probably three most important elements that perhaps I need to embrace. And that is health, love, and wisdom. Without health, everybody knows, right? Well, in our life, we cannot continue with a lot of things that we're doing right now, right? We cannot help others, we cannot help ourselves, we cannot do the things that we like to do, right? So health, of course, mentally and physically, I think that's very important to me. And that's something that I really believe in. The next is love, and that's very important, right? Not just love ourselves, love our people, love our environments. Everything that we do has a meaning. If we have love in our life, that brings color to the equation. That brings meaning to everything. Yes, thank you. I'm glad you agree. Okay, and then the last one is the tricky one. It's wisdom. This one is the toughest one. Okay, I always searching for a way that we can better ourselves, do better business, and then be happy. Wisdom, I'm sure all of you have a lot of wisdom. Sometimes, even though we're right, but we appear that we're wrong, or sometimes we take in all the sufferings, but then we're still be okay with it, right? It's very philosophical, but then it's so important. I think wisdom, it can help us tackle a lot of problems. Therefore, because of these three elements, have a lot of wisdom. How do we do it? This is something I share with you. This is how I obtain a lot of wisdom. I do a lot of volunteer work. I go out there, I join parades, I join community events. I perform at Disneyland, I perform for Universal Studio, okay, with one goal. Okay, this one goal is want to bring people together, right? I'm very happy that my parents made this choice to bring us to the US. And why US? Because US is made up of people all around the world, right? We're a melting pot. So we're here, we need to bring people together so there's no hatred, there's no misunderstanding. The best way to bring people together is through cultural awareness, through music, through dance, through this and that, so we understand each one's background. So when I do a lot of this kind of activities, now to me this is even more important than my current career as a commercial real estate practitioner. I think this is something that is stronger, that's even better, give meaning to my life. So I do a lot of volunteer and we help others. How do I help others? We manage about 60 different shopping centers in Southern California, right? I don't want the business to fail. So we help the tenants, we help the community. The first thing that we do is we think of the value that we can bring to the community first, to the residents, and then because we see what the residents, the community need, then we bring the accommodating. Okay, that's time. Okay, so helping people, giving that helping hand is what we're looking for. By doing so, we can obtain the real happiness. This is how I want to share with you guys. Remember, when you're confronted with a problem, listen to your heart, not your brain. Thank you very much.